we're going to use the diamond method to for something a little tougher. So 2x squared plus x minus 1. And to use the diamond method, what people don't talk about is up here doesn't really go, c doesn't really go up here. It's a times c. So the first step is to take a and multiply it by c. So you get 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. That's how we get this. And then we take this negative 1 and we put it down here like we usually do. All right, what multiplies to give me negative 2? Positive and negative, positive or negative 2 times 1, right? Which one gets it? Well, since negative 1 is your sum, the larger number gets the negative. So it's negative 2. Now, remember when we learned about the box method a while ago, the area model? This is why we learned it. It comes back here. So we create an area model, right? And what we do is we fill it in using this information. So 2x squared goes in here, negative 1 goes in here, and these two go here, but we add an x to it. So it's negative 2x and positive 1x, okay? So again, I got these two from here, right? And I got these two from the problem. Now what I do is I put an x here. What times x will give me 2x squared? 2x. I can't do that there actually because look, 2x, nothing times 2x will give you 1x like a fraction will, but we want whole numbers. So I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to put my x here and I'm going to put my 2x on the top. What times 2x will give you negative 2x? Negative 1. What times x will give you 1x? 1. And 1 times negative 1 gives you negative 1. So look at what our final answer is. I take the sides, right? This side, and that's my final answer. So watch. 2x plus 1 is one factor. X minus 1 is my other factor. Confused? Okay, let's try another one. So I'm going to go through all problems. You can stay with me or you can fast forward to the ones you don't get. I would do it with me though in order to get it. So remember, we're going to take the 3, right? We're going to take this 3 and we're going to multiply it by the 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. And we're going to take this 17 and we're going to put it here. What times what will give me 30, but add it together will give me 17? Well, I can't do it off the top of my head, so I start off with my tree. 1 times 30 is 30, but it doesn't add up to 17, so that's out. 2 times 15 is 30, and it adds up to 17, so I got 2 and 15. All right? So that's the one I wanted. I make my box. I don't worry about these guys anymore. I go over here. 3x squared and 10, right? And then I'll do it in a different color because I get these two from here, right? So I don't use my equation anymore. I look at my diamond, and I'm going to put 2x here and 15x over here. All right? And what I'm doing, guys, is I'm breaking up the 17 into two addends to make it true, so that way I can like look at it better. But right now, just focus on the on the puzzle piece of it. I can't put 3x up here, so I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put 3x here. Why can't I put 3x here? Because nothing times 3 will give me 2 unless I multiply by a fraction, and I don't want to do that. I want to work with whole numbers. So it's 3x goes on the side and x goes on the top. What times 3x equals 15x? 5. What times x will give you 2x? 2. And 2 times 5 equals 10. You check the c at the end. My final answer is 3x plus 2 times x plus 5. All right? All right, now we go down. Let's do another one. Oh, I love this. Why? 4x squared and positive 9. Right? I see a difference in the middle. There's only 2 terms. There's not 3. So I can see if this is a perfect square, because if it is, we have a difference of 2 perfect squares, and I know exactly what to do. Now, what I would do is I would just take the square root of each one of these, right? So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 9 is 3. So look at all I have to do is x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. I'm done. That's all you have to do. Right? So this equals 2x. This equals 3. Put them in a parentheses, plus minus. You're done. All right. And don't worry if this is confusing. We're going to spend a whole day just practicing these. All right. Last one. I take my 6 and I take my 2. I'm going to multiply them together. And that's going to give me 12. I have to come up with two terms that multiply to 12 and add up to 8. Well, that one I know right off the top of my head. I hope you do too. It's 2 times 6. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my box. Again, I get my 6x squared over here, and I get my 2 over here. Look, 6x squared, I can either write 1 and 6, but I'm going to do 2 and 3. Why? Because 2 and 3 can go into 6. So I'm going to put my 2 over here and my 6 over here, add an x, and I get those from here, right? You know what? I'm going to erase it and make sure that you guys see that I did it in red. That way we remember where, and again, it doesn't matter. Like I'm going to put my 2x here and my 6x here. Doesn't matter where we put it. All right, what time, look, now this is a little more complicated, right? I'm going to start with here because I know this is going to definitely have x here and an x here. I don't know about the 2 and the 3, and if I'm not careful, I'm going to mess it up. So this 2, right, one of these is going to have a 2, right? Whichever one I want. So I'm going to do this 2 over here. And what times 2 will give me a 6? A 3. And that means that this has to be 2 over here. And 2 times what will give you 2x? 1. Now let's check it out. 2 times 1 is 2. All right, great. So my final answer is 3x plus 1 times 2x plus 2. And if you're a little confused, what happened here was this was a little complicated. So I wanted to do these last, and I went to my C, and I said, okay, what numbers can I think of that will multiply to give me 2? And I like that. I did that with C because it was a prime number. It was simpler, right? There's less things that I have to think about. 6 is a composite number, meaning that it's made up of a lot of different factors, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, right? Meanwhile, 2 is just 1 and 2. So I could play around with these numbers and I can get the right answer, or I would have to play around with all these numbers, and this was just shorter. All right, and then from there, I knew that this had to have an x and x because this was x squared. I just had to figure out which one would get the 3 or the 2. Okay, don't worry, we're going to practice this all week. This is the thing we're going to practice. So if you don't feel like you got it now, you'll get it by the end of the week.